What's up, everyone? All right, so yesterday I uploaded a video where I recapped my trading performance for the month of November. And at the end of that video, I summarized with a little bit of a game plan for the week ahead. I'm going to expand on that here in this episode, but keep it concise just to get us all on the same page for, well, Monday morning. We've got a brand new month, and I want to make sure we all get off to a really strong start. So, what is the number one focus for Monday and for the week ahead? Focusing on the highest quality setups. That has to be the focus, because when you focus on high quality stocks, your accuracy will be higher. When you've got higher accuracy, you'll have an improved profit loss ratio. When you've got a better profit loss ratio, you'll have more consistency. When you have more consistency, you'll have more self-confidence. When you have more self-confidence, you trade with more share size and you trade more frequently, and that increases profitability. That is a positive feedback loop, and that's what I want to see you guys on. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts and start breaking down what I'm going to be watching for Monday morning. Now, as always, I will sit down Monday morning. I'll be sitting here right here in my office about 6:45. I will open my live stream just before 7 a.m. So everyone who's a member of Warrior Trading, Warrior Starter members, Warrior Pro members, you guys will have access to my stream. Of course, for those of you guys who are new members who don't already know this, you'll have access to my stream. You'll be able to tune in and watch me as I start to break down my watch list for Monday morning, which ultimately will be based primarily on the stocks that are at the top of this top gainers scanner. So on Friday, this is a scan still from Friday, but on Friday we had BSLK at the top of the scan. It was up at the time like 200%. So on Friday, this was the obvious stock to be looking at first thing, but when I pulled up the chart, I could tell that, this is a stock that peaked at $1.60, had pulled back, and coming into 7 a.m., it was already kind of rolling over. So this one was out of play. We did end up having other stocks that worked out well. And UMAC was an interesting one because although it was choppy at the beginning of the day, I mean, I had my first entry at like 10:45 and I still managed to lose on it. It had a nice squeeze here going up to 20. So I hate to say it, but it looks good going into the close. I mean, it closed strong on Friday. So is it going to give us more action on Monday? Look at the daily chart. Do we have any nearby resistance? Daily chart, big green candle. 50, 60 million shares of volume on Friday, plus another, let's see, it was 56 million on Wednesday. So it's got a lot of volume. That's good. Ascending resistance, if you connected these two candles, honestly, not super valid anyways, because these were both on such light volume. This is just, it's so much more volume, it'll override that. So there's no resistance on the daily chart. It's a blue sky setup. The catalyst here was a Trump-related catalyst that Donald Trump Jr. is an advisor for this company. And when we were doing our November month in review, reviewing the $339,000 of profit from November, I highlighted that 5 of my top 10 biggest winning stocks, the stocks I made the most money on, had a catalyst that was tied in with Trump. Now, I kind of tied that Bitcoin surge was related to Trump. The drone catalysts were also related to Trump. And this one was one as well, which I did really well on Wednesday. So yeah, what do you need? You want an apple? I, okay, sorry about that. So UMAC, so anyways, it closes strong. And the thing that I was noticing was that they had a S1, a registration to sell more securities. And it was filed on Wednesday, the 27th, for 3.5 million shares. So, now I'm wondering whether or not, I'd been wondering as we saw the hidden sellers on Wednesday and again on Friday, if the company itself was selling. Because I didn't think it would probably be insiders selling because the float's not even that big. But it is possible. I mean, you never know, and I don't know what the answer is. But I will be watching this on Monday, and I'll be especially paying attention to whether or not those sellers are still there. If they're gone, then that's awesome. But if they're back or they're still there, then it's going to be hard to trade. To be honest, I would rather a totally fresh stock with a fresh catalyst, but the fact that it has still increasing volume, even as the price is going higher, is significant. It's a momentum play, and it has no nearby resistance, and it's got a low float. So the imbalance between supply and demand will probably still be there on Monday. Okay, so it's worth watching. Now, it might spike up at 4 a.m., and so by the time I sit down at 7 a.m., it's already spiked and has come back. But, we'll just have to wait and see. So UMAC, I'm going to put it reluctantly on the side chart as a possibility. I don't want to be biased. I mean, yes, it's annoying that I lost on it on Friday, but if it gives me a good setup and the price action isn't having that issue with hidden sellers, I'll be okay with it. So I'm going to put that on the watch list for Monday morning. And then basically that's the only stock. Well, actually, I guess ZENA, I will also put on my watch list for Monday because it had this big spike, pulled back, bounced up. And if this continues, if it can break over 10, maybe we have a shot at getting back to 12. But what I really think that this one needs is a fresh catalyst, fresh news. And so if it doesn't have fresh news, I don't know that we're going to get the volume that'll come back in. Because look at the volume these last couple days, super light. High volume on the first day of the move, high volume on the second because it continued higher, even though it closed lower as the day went on. And then very light volume on these 2 days as it's now back within range. So right now it's not really a momentum trade, but if it squeezes back up, that could be something we can work with. So I'm going to keep it on watch, kind of with that intention that if it curls back up, I could have something to work with. So that's ZENA. Now, if we go here and I see you're holding a jar of maple syrup, explain.
To take off
the sugar? Yeah. So let me see it. So this, nope, it's okay. So this is got some crystallization on the side. I can pop off some of those crystals. We can have a couple for dessert. So why don't you bring that over?
I'm trying to unscrew it so I can get them out. But you don't have to get them out.
But don't eat them right now. Okay. All right. So ZENA, yep, UMAC. Okay, got it. So now let's just take a quick look at the continuation scanner. Now it's kind of easy for me to, have these stocks because they're fresh in my mind. But if you had taken the week off, you could always pull up the continuation scanner here and just look at what are the leading gap or leading percentage movers in the last couple of days. ZENA, AGFY, IDAI, and UMAC. So IDAI, we can check that one as well. Interesting, but too cheap for me. So that one, price-wise, no good. AGFY, interesting, but too expensive. So that one's no good. All right, I mean, it's fine to take a look at it, but it's not going to work. It's too expensive. So ZENA and UMAC stay on the list. PDYN, 16 million share float. I mean, it's had nice momentum. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to be clean. So I could put it on a side chart as a maybe if it starts to pick up, but I don't know that it will. QUBT floats too high. SMTK floats fine. Price is fine. So this one, what it needs is kind of tricky because it's right below its 200 moving average on the daily. So you've got the 200 there. So it needs a catalyst to break through. So if it gets breaking news, that's the catalyst. We can work with that. But if we don't get some fresh breaking news, then there's nothing we can really do. So that's SMTK. And then going back down a little further, PSTX floats too high. BKKT, this one this was also a Trump catalyst, and it was related to a potential acquisition. Truth Media or Truth Social, Trump Media, potentially buying it. So now it's just sort of going sideways. So there's nothing really to trade right there on it now. VUZI floats too high. UAVS, this one's given us some moves and is worth keeping an eye on because if it can break over 10, realistically, we do have room on the daily for a curl back up. The 200 is all the way at $45 a share. So we could get a curl on that. So UAVS is also going to go on a side chart. But to be honest, while it's helpful to have a couple stocks on side charts, I probably won't trade them unless the stock suddenly hits my scanner and then I'm like, wait, I'm familiar with this. This one I already was mentioning and thinking about, And now, oh, shoot, it's got news. Okay, game time. I'm going to jump in it real quick. So it's possible that that could all happen, which is why it's good to familiarize yourself with some of the recent big momentum stocks. But they really typically need a fresh news headline to make that big move. ARQQ, this one, high of 21, has pulled back. Could be interesting if it breaks over 21 or 22, but I think the price, because it's a little more expensive, is going to be harder to trade. Okay, now so hold on, let me just jump on the whiteboard real quick. Okay, so let's talk about kind of the profile of big winners. And this is going to be right now in the current market. So in terms of price, my biggest winners from November were actually priced between 2 and 5, but I did well all the way up to, 20. So 2 and 5 sweet spot, but 5 to 20 still profitable and happy to trade it. Percentages, higher is better. I had a lot of stocks I traded that were in excess of 50%. Relative volume, 5x and higher. News is important. And not just that it's news, but that there's a clear catalyst. And so this is where I'll remind you that the Trump catalyst produced 50% of my biggest winners from November. And then float, right now, floats of under 5 million are the focus, and lower, 2 million is definitely sort of a premium. That's better. And then certainly if we have a recent IPO, that's also really interesting. So this is kind of the profile of the type of stocks that have been giving us the biggest move. So let's say tomorrow, Monday morning, I sit down and we've got a stock right here that's already up 139%. That's $3 a share. It's already got 5 times relative volume, and it has a clear catalyst. Whether or not it's related to Trump doesn't matter, but if it is related to Trump, I might even have higher expectations for it. If it's a biotech, I'll have higher expectations, and if it's a private placement. So Trump, biotech, and private placement are the 3 catalysts I'm paying extra attention to right now. So if I see that, I'm going to be super aggressive. Now, if I see a stock hitting the scanner right here, Zcar, for instance, at 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, like at a time when it's likely to have breaking news, I'm going to check the float. I'm going to check the price. If those two check out, I'm going to pull up the level 2 immediately as the chart is loading. As soon as I see what the news catalyst is, I read it and digest it. I will be pressing the buy button as long as it fits pretty closely within this profile, because this is where I've done really well. So, as I was recapping the month of November, we observed that November was a strong month, but I had a couple of outsized losses on stocks where I jumped in quickly, and in fact, there was not a clear catalyst. So I was I guess, had a little FOMO, was afraid of missing the beginning of the move, and so was buying before I confirmed why it was squeezing up. I've got to be really careful about that going into the month of December, especially these first few days, because I want to build a cushion on the month. And I want you guys to be able to build a cushion on the month as well. So that means starting by focusing on stocks that closely fit within the profile, are moving fast, and we have confirmed what the catalyst is that's bringing the volume in. Because that's also going to help us understand whether or not more volume is going to keep coming in, or if it's just going to pop and then fade and roll over. So we've got to really understand, why is it that this thing is spiking? Because if it's popping up and there's no news whatsoever, then for all we know, it's, a WhatsApp group sending an alert to, 100,000 people, and there's no real fundamental reason for the price to go up, and it's probably going to come back down. In which case, if I buy it, I might make money on it, but it's very possible that I'll get caught in too high and then end up taking a loss. And I don't want that to happen. And I don't want to see that happen to you guys either. So as you know, our Black Friday sales, we had Black Friday on Friday. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. So we'll be wrapping up our Black Friday sales with Cyber Monday tomorrow, and then the sales will be ending. So this is our biggest sale of the entire year in terms of us giving the biggest discount. on the Warrior Starter or and the Warrior Pro bundles. So I hope you guys check these out. If you haven't already, you can come over to the website. You can read all about the Starter, the Pro. You can see what it includes. I've talked about it a bunch in other episodes. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to email us, team@warriortrading.com. We're here to help you. We're here to answer questions. And my hope is that I can be your mentor as you continue your journey of learning how to day trade. So I'll be streaming bright and early tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the chat room. All right, so let's get December off to a great start. Let's focus on high quality stocks and staying disciplined and staying patient. Remember, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk and practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. Good news is, Warrior Starter and Warrior Pro members, you guys will get access to a simulator that includes real-time level 2 data and that you can trade side by side with me without risking real money. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.